Hey guys, good morning. It's your buddy Chop It On Friday morning. We've made it. We made it to the weekend, a long Labor Day weekend at that. And next week we kick in to NFL stuff. So, just to show you, I'm working on a couple of pieces here for NFL already. I'm going to do a budget article, winning DFS on a budget, for my smaller ballers out there that join the club and want to grind up and through the smaller baller designation and get into the nosebleeds. I'm going to show you how we can smartly attack these small contests today through NFL. We're doing it a little bit with MME and baseball, so this is obviously the MLB rundown, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what's coming as we transition in the next couple of months away from baseball and into NFL, and then we'll see what the spring brings in terms of where we go next. But that said, you can always follow me on Twitter. I appreciate likes and subscribes to the YouTube channel where you find me for free every day as we break down the MLB slate. So, and obviously, if you want to become a VIP and actually get the discussion, the coaching, where I can spend a lot more time with you one-on-one or in small groups or whatever, you come on in, become a VIP at dfsarmy.com. Use that coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, and trigger that 20% off every month discount. We had a pretty good night last night. Got up around 200 in the nickels on Fanduel. We had some leverage stacks that panned out. I think I got 58 of my 100 lineups through the cash, which is pretty rare. I don't usually do that. I usually get about half my money back. Put in $5, get back 250 ish. But last night, put in $5, got back like $8. Nothing over a quarter, believe it or not. Nothing went over 5x. It's just that everything got through the min cash and was still able to grind up a profit. That just means I was on target with my stacks and I didn't spread out too much. I concentrated a little bit heavier on a 4-game slate and hit most of the stacks that I concentrated on. So that was a good night there. DraftKings was a different story. We did really, really well. Put in about $7 and got out about 42. This 61's like, I don't know, over more than just one day. But we won this contest here. I think we placed second in this contest here and then did well down here as well. What I'm trying to show you is first place in this quarter contest was only 700 people, and second place in this one was only 3,600 people. Again, that's not much to brag about. I'm just trying to kind of show you that by playing in these smaller number of player contests, this is kind of where we're going to go with the winning on a budget article for NFL. Keeping yourself in winnable contests matters. You play in those giant GPPs like the nickel over on FanDuel, it's a damned lottery ticket. You have to get way up near the top and beat 140,000 people along the way to turn a nickel even into like $3 or $4. It's ridiculously top heavy. But some of these are also top heavy over on DraftKings, but they're a little bit smaller. They're a little bit more winnable. You can really get in here and do damage more frequently and use those as more of a bankroll building tool as well as practice your MME techniques. So not to spend too much time on those or just showing you the results, just more to show you a little bit of what I bring to the table as a coach. I don't play for big money, but damn, I can show you how to win big money. It doesn't really matter to me where you come from. I mean, I use this analogy all the time. I had a golf coach. I've only taken 2 lessons, I think, in my life. I'm almost a scratch golfer. And it's all self-taught, except for I did need lessons. I did need coaching a couple of times. And that coach that I went to taught Chichi Rodriguez back in the 80s and Craig Stadler. If you Google them and look them up for you young pups that don't know who they are, those were pretty profound PGA pros. So my instructor had credibility. The issue is he couldn't break 90 if you took him out on a golf course. Just because a guy doesn't play big money in DFS doesn't mean he can't help you with your game. And that's why I'm going to really embrace the smaller ball stuff going forward again, and we're going to brag about it, and we're going to be obnoxious about it, partly tongue-in-cheek, because we know it's not big money, and it's fun, but partly because a lot of you out there are probably in that exact same boat. A lot of you are probably struggling to maybe even win $5. And I can show you how to do that, but I can also show you those principles that can help you win 5, win 100, win 500, win 1,000, win 10,000, whatever. We just have to take the baby steps and work our way up to it. And that's what my coaching centers on inside dfsarmy.com. But when we go to the rundown, in MLB and we knock out this slate, we start with the pitching tab, right? We get all of our pitchers, we sort by W score, we push all of these big numbers down to the bottom because we're looking for batters that have high WOBA as a team that would be conducive to several batters in the lineup going off, and we look for a pitcher that struggles when it comes to giving up WOBA against, because that would be that double green light that we talk about where the batters are in a good spot and the pitcher is in a trouble spot. And when that happens, we generally see other metrics that come along with it, like high walk ratios, high home run per nine, high fly balls, high Sierras, etc. So I'm looking at this middle section up in here and these bottom two guys here. So call it these bottom two and maybe these middle three, which would be what, Singer, Kikuchi, and Clark. I mean, if you don't stack against Kikuchi right now, you're doing it wrong. Sensatella, Tyler Anderson. So that's Arizona, and but Arizona can't hit themselves out of a wet paper bag right now. So I would probably downgrade that matchup. Even though it's a great matchup, I wouldn't be surprised to see them explode for 10 runs tonight. I just wouldn't really count on it. So I wouldn't go too overboard on Arizona. But the Dodgers, of course. And then up here with guys like San Francisco, they've been scoring runs on occasion. Texas, another one that kind of downgrades. Chicago, yes, please. Hopefully Chicago in the middle of this pack flies under the radar and they keep doing damage. They've been a fun team to stack all year long. But those are the 3 or 4 or 5 teams that I'll probably start keying on when I dig in a little bit deeper into my research. But I move out here to the batters tab next. As soon as the little machine catches up, I sort my W score. This time put all the big numbers at the top because I'm looking for bats this time. And I'm going to slide over here and see if I can't find anybody really. Now there's Arizona, San Diego. See, San Diego we didn't mention before, but they got a little pocket of players that are in good matchups. We might want to focus on them when we do a little bit of digging too. But nobody really stands out with just slaughtering the top of the leaderboard here other than Arizona, who we said we might downgrade a little bit. If I go to the catcher position tab, only Carson Kelly, Arizona, is over the 580 W score that I like to filter by. First base, Brad Miller. Brad Miller's hot as hell. Carlos Santana, Encarnacion, Healy, Abreu. There's a couple of White Sox for you. Second base, Kira Marte, Arizona again. Cano, Muncy. Again, you want to make sure these guys are starting in the starting lineups. That I think goes without saying. Machado, McNeil, Escobar. McNeil has great BVP. I've already looked at that. Lindor, Tatis, Seager, Ahmed. Ahmed's one of my favorite guys to roster, period. I haven't done it a lot lately. He hasn't been all that great lately, but he will sneak up on you. And he actually has some very sneaky double dong potential. Very deep outfield. Gallo, Yelich, Robert, Bellinger. There's still value here at 3,600 in Luis Robert. Dude's ripping the cover off the ball. When I go over to the trend, so hopefully you wrote those names down, you wrote down a couple of those stacks, it gives you a place to start doing your digging. I dig in over here to the L7 WOBA. I sort it by descending order so that all the hot hitters come to the top. And then I take out the plate appearances under 25. I put on a filter, greater than 25 at-bats over the last 14 days, because I want guys that typically make the starting lineup or have a high likelihood of playing. And I look, and Lariano's ripping the cover off the ball. Maldonado, Fremil Reyes, Dickerson, Brantley, Chapman, Hoskins. These are all guys that once they get down to about the 600, 550-ish mark, these are the guys that I'd be focused on in my lineups. On a very short sample, like I say, on a very short sample of 7 days, I want monster WOBAs. I don't want 420. It's good, but it's not so hot that I have to roster the guy. It's not like he's just not making outs. I mean, he's not, but there on a short sample, we can really, really push that ceiling number and really, really focus on the raging hot guys. Those are the ones that we want to be paying attention to. I mean, you could sort this thing by ISO if you wanted to. That would work for GPPs as well. And then I finish off by running into the batters versus pitcher tab. I filter out the plate appearances to under those over 9. So anything 9 and under is eliminated. Doesn't mean I won't look at it. It just means I'm not looking at it right now. And this WOBA number, again, I want big smashing WOBAs. Because again, we're largely on pretty small sample sizes of 20 to 25 at bats is pretty big. If a guy's 36 at bats at a 422, I don't know. Now, if he's got a couple of home runs, I may consider him. So that's Howie Kendrick duplicated, which is interesting. But I'm looking more up in here at the guys that have the true BVP. 20 at bats. What do we got? 13 for 20 for Jeff McNeil against Jake Arrieta. Dude's probably got Arrieta figured out somehow. and he might be somebody you want to incorporate in more of your lineups. 9 for 23 is not great, so we better see some power numbers here, and we see 3 home runs and 4 extra base hits for Anthony Rizzo. So Anthony Rizzo is probably going to have a bad day more often than not against Jack Flaherty, but he does tend to touch him up for big damage when he does touch him up. So it's a great GPP one-off. It's a great play. Colin Moran, again, what is that, 6 for 14? So again, there's got to be a little bit of damage in there. To boost the WOBA up, it's either got to have tremendous power with it for the power element, or it's got to have a lot of little needle dick hitting. And needle dick hitting is fine. You draw on walks, hitting singles. Those are great little cash game plays. Those are great non-zero type plays. But we need the home runs. We need the power element for the tournaments because we need to be correct on every single spot. We need all 8 or 9 of our guys to have ceiling games. We can't be wrong in more than 1 or 2 spots and have a chance to win a GPP. So there's 2 different ways to look at it. These are all things I don't have time to go into in 5, 10, 15 minutes per day. But if people are getting coached inside DFS Army, if people are wanting to get coached inside DFS Army, that's where we can spend more time with you. That's where we can dig into your game a little bit better. Have that. It still takes discussion. It still takes a lot of going back and forth. It isn't something where it's, hey, read this article, how habanada. It's not one of those things. It's more like, let's really talk. Let's become friends. Let's kind of talk back and forth and back and forth and get to know each other, get to know each other's games and whatever. And then we'll start kind of filtering out where we might be going wrong or what we can add or what we can incorporate to the game to make it a little bit better. I try to really, really simplify everybody right out of the gate. And then we start adding stuff as we go. We'll add a little piece of this, add a little piece of this, add a little piece of this, and we'll start watching our results as the days go by. It isn't going to be, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. It's not going to be one of those, 2 weeks and you're fixed kind of things. If you really want to do this right, it's kind of an ongoing process, but you will get there. You may hit the ground running and you may be great in a week, but you may also take a month or 2 months or something like that to really kind of start getting these changes to take hold in either your thinking, your mentality, your approach, maybe the fundamentals of research that you're doing, whatever it is. As long as we talk back and forth, we will figure it out. That much I can promise you. You will become a better player if you become a member of DFSArmy.com. So consider that. Use the coupon code CHOP if you're going to jump in, get to 20% off discount. Like and subscribe to the video while you're down there because that helps keep me pushing more information out to you guys. And we will see you, I guess, later. Have a happy Labor Day. Hopefully you guys win big money. And we'll be talking to you maybe once during the weekend, but certainly back again on Tuesday. Peace out, homies.